Hey Mustangs, in this video we're going to be taking a look at how the immune system gets activated or how the immune system gets turned on. So to get started here, we're looking at the steps that it takes to go through in order to fully turn on your third line of defense, your specific defenses, the ones that are made to specifically attack and destroy certain bacteria or viruses. So if you take a look at this image here, this is the series of steps that your immune system goes through or your body goes through in order to activate your immune system. So what we see here, before we go on to anything else, I want to identify what we're looking at here. So this right here, this little blob, gray blob looking thing, this is a macrophage. This is one of your phagocytes. This is one of your special immune system cells. So this is from you. So macrophages are you. Helper T cells are also your body. So these are cells that your body makes called helper T cells. There's cytotoxic T cells as well. And then we have B cells. And B cells can turn into two types of cells. B cells can turn into memory cells, and they can also turn into plasma cells. And in class, we talked about antigens and antibodies. This is where the antibodies come from. They have to be made by something. So here, these plasma cells are the ones that actually make those antibodies. So let's go ahead and take a look at exactly how this happens. All right, so to start, it all begins when a pathogen enters the body. So the pathogen could be a bacteria, could be a virus, and it could be the actual pathogen, or it could be something that's been injected from a vaccine. So it could be dead or weakened forms of the pathogen or parts of the pathogen that is injected in the body. In either case, both things are actually going to turn on the immune system and get it ready to fight off that specific bacteria or virus. So here I'm going to use a chickenpox virus as an example. So chickenpox virus enters into the body, and a macrophage comes along and engulfs it. So remember, macrophage is one of your cells, one of your lymphocytes, one of your immune system cells. So a macrophage engulfs it, tears it apart, and is actually going to display its antigens on its surface. That triggers another one of your cells called helper T cells to come along and bind to it. So helper T cells bind to it, and that causes a release of a chemical message. So you don't need to know the names and everything, but this chemical message gets released, and it's going to activate other helper T cells. When the other helper T cells get activated, they release another chemical message, and that's where the immune system officially is going to kick into gear here. So once they have released this chemical, that chemical causes cytotoxic T cells to get turned on, to get activated, and start hunting the body, and in this case against the chickenpox virus. And it's going to hunt through the body and find any of your cells that have already been infected by the chickenpox virus and destroy them. To some, they're like, wait, what the heck? Why is your cytotoxic T cells, which are your cells, why are they destroying other cells of yours? Well, it makes sense to stop these cells from making more viruses for the virus. So it's a way of stopping that ongoing play that goes on with viruses of tricking cells into making more viruses for them. The cytotoxic T cells destroy any cells that have already been infected. Now, while this is being activated at the same time, this chemical that gets released by the helper T cells also activates B cells. And B cells can become two different things. B cells can become memory B cells, memory cells that are going to float around your body and I put in quotes, remember what a certain bacteria or virus looks like, in this case, the chickenpox virus. And some B cells become plasma cells. Plasma cells are the cells that make your antibodies. So those plasma cells will make millions of antibodies against that bacteria or virus. And these memory cells, what they do, when they come in contact with the pathogen later on in life, if it ever enters the body again, they can actually make antibodies as well. So quick recap. So pathogen enters into the body. A macrophage is the first cell that comes along and starts this whole process. So first one of your cells engulfs it, breaks it apart, presents the antigens. Helper T cells are next. They bind and they help turn on the immune system by getting the first chemical to be released. That activates other helper T cells. Those helper T cells will activate cytotoxic T cells that are going to hunt the body and destroy any of your cells that have already been infected. B cells also become activated and they make memory cells and plasma cells, which make millions of antibodies. So that is how your immune system gets activated. What you really need to know is that the macrophages are the first cells. Helper T cells are next in helping turn on the immune system. Cytotoxic T cells hunt the body and destroy any infected cells, while your memory cells, of course, are the memory, makes sense, and plasma cells make millions of antibodies. And remember also that it has to happen in this order. You must have these steps occur like this. You can't skip steps in order to activate your immune system. If it doesn't happen like this, then your immune system doesn't get turned on and you can't fight against specific bacteria and viruses. And it's like your third line of defense doesn't exist, which equals death.